Hello, welcome to Laser Pulse's learning module on an introduction to embedded research translation. I'm Christopher Rice, Research Translation Communication Lead at Indiana University and with the Laser Pulse Consortium, and I'll be guiding you through this short course today. Laser Pulse stands for Long-Term Assistance and Services for Research, Partners for University-Led Solutions Engine. This $70 million USAID-funded program is led by Purdue University, and its consortium also includes Catholic Relief Services, Makerere University, University of Notre Dame, and Indiana University. Together, LaserPulse aims to provide research-driven, practical solutions to field-source development challenges in USAID partner countries. LaserPulse does this by initiating a large network for collaboration between researchers and practitioners, strengthening capacity for development research and research translation, and by funding research translation projects around the world in a variety of fields. This is one of many short courses LaserPulse offers. Once you finish this course, check out our website for additional learning modules on related topics. In addition to providing online training and other digital content toward capacity strengthening on critical topics, LaserPulse's approach and work portfolio feature a number of principal components. Among them, a growing network of researchers and practitioners around the world to collaborate on ways to tackle some of today's toughest development challenges, issuing targeted research funding to address those needs through the utilization of its embedded research translation model, and integrating gender considerations to address inequities that exist as barriers to development. This module is primarily intended for researchers working in developing country contexts, but is broadly applicable and has content relevant to those working in government, NGOs, foundations, and the private sector. As an introduction to embedded research translation, this module's objectives are: review LaserPulse's definition of and approach to embedded research translation, or ERT, consider the 4 pillars of embedded research translation, identify common challenges and consider best practices in embedded research translation, consider relevant LaserPulse project examples of embedded research translation, and apply knowledge learned through scenarios and an end-of-module quiz. Increasingly, researchers, practitioners, donors, and policymakers are focused on the impact of collaborative research projects on development outcomes. This idea of how research translates into policy and practice and ultimately to impact has gained traction across disciplines and is an important area of exploration and effort in the development world. A range of terms are used for this, including knowledge translation, knowledge transfer, implementation science, applied research, participatory action research, and research translation, among others. In the development context, research translation generally means translating discoveries made through research into a format that can be understood and applied by policymakers, end users, partners, and stakeholders in practice for development impact. This responds to a 17-year-plus research to practice and policy gap by bridging actors and connecting their knowledge and application more closely. A common approach to research translation is a two-phase process in which research findings are translated into practical applications after the research has concluded. This is depicted in the image on the screen, conventional research translation. Many approaches to research translation are more linear in nature, developed for specific sectors without large international development goals in mind. LaserPulse, however, approaches research translation as an integrated component of the entire research cycle, built in from the very beginning of the project, instead of as a final phase in the research process. We affirm that research translation is most effective if it is embedded across all phases of the research project, from identifying the research topic to disseminating the findings for broader impact. Indeed, the ERT model ensures that the research solution is custom generated for a development challenge, and that any type of research is readily adapted and applied. It is an integrated process that incorporates potential failures and adaptation over multiple iterations. Our model is nonlinear, sector agnostic, and can focus on any policy or program changes at a local, regional, national, or international level. You can see our model visually here. LaserPulse uses the term embedded research translation and defines it as an iterative co-design process among academics, practitioners, and other stakeholders in which research is intentionally applied to a development challenge. LaserPulse believes innovation and discovery can occur in research laboratories, in the field, as well as through the learning process during the implementation and scaling phases. LaserPulse advocates for development solutions to be derived from co-development between practitioners and researchers. Pathways to innovative, field-tested solutions are reinforced through deep collaboration with the stakeholders closest to the development challenge, and more specifically, practitioners working to solve it. ERT follows a process from discovery to field-tested solution to wider application, and finally to impact. Our model represents targeted research translation through intentional partnership, stakeholder engagement, co-design and co-creation, early dissemination, and intentional product development toward a specific policy or practice. As the graphic demonstrates, LaserPulse promotes a model in which research translation is embedded throughout the research process. Researchers and various development actors engage in close collaboration at the onset of the research project through the dissemination of the translated product, and together seek ways for the research to have a wider application and impact. Practitioners are involved in the research process. The team identifies and engages with stakeholders early. Researchers maintain involvement and dissemination, and all partners work together toward developing products from the research. Results of this collaboration, detailed in the upper left of the graphic, include discovery, learning, innovation, and a field-tested solution. Importantly, this is a nonlinear process that incorporates potential failures and adaptations over multiple iterations, with the understanding that eventually the team develops a field-tested solution. In sharing this solution as part of dissemination, teams can engage a broad range of stakeholders and potentially new partners. These steps in the upper right include increased awareness, replication and scale of the solution, wider application, and eventually large-scale impact. As we go through this course, we will talk about what LaserPulse considers to be the four key pillars of embedded research translation: partnership, process, product, and dissemination. In partnership, the project integrates partners early and throughout for solutions to be more likely adopted and applied. As part of a collaborative process, teams should ensure a solid foundation to work together effectively. With a translation product, you design something tangible to inform policy and/or practice. And in dissemination, plan for wider application and scale up beyond the partnership and toward a larger uptake in the field or region. These four areas have been reflected in the translation criteria for the LaserPulse request for applications for Research Translation Awards and feature prominently across the work we do. Our awards have specified approaches to partnership, collaborative process, translation product, and dissemination as part of their research translation strategies. In accordance, we have required that teams have a local PI or co-PI, need a translation partner, such as an NGO, as a formal entity on the award, need plans to create at least one translation product for a certain audience, and have a plan for dissemination early, including early stakeholder engagement. Thinking through these four pillars, watch a video from one of our completed projects. See if you can identify their partners, approaches to a collaborative process, the translation product they've developed, and how they intend on disseminating their findings.
Hi, my name is Dr. Jessica Agnew, co-principal investigator for the Laser Pulse funded project exploring the use of blockchain technology to improve food security through African indigenous vegetables in Western Kenya. Since the beginning of this project, Virginia Tech and Egerton University in Western Kenya have been working together with our research translation partner, AgUnity, an Australian-based company, to translate research findings on the challenges and opportunities within value chains for African indigenous vegetables into a version of the AgUnity smartphone application specifically designed for this agri-food value chain. This app is built on blockchain technology to improve trust, transparency, and flows of information. By working collaboratively at every stage of the project, our team is developing an app that is tailored to the unique experiences of producers, traders, and retailers of these highly nutritious leafy greens. Embedding research translation in our project from the very beginning through collaboration and co-design has helped us to deliver effective training, design the model of service delivery, and start to plan for scalability to ensure as many producers, traders, retailers, and community-based organizations can benefit from the interconnectedness of the AgUnity app.
At the core of effective research translation is effective partnership between researchers and other groups, practitioners, donors, government, private sector, who will apply and use the findings of the research. The earlier partnerships can be established, and the clearer the understanding of goals and outcomes, the better. It is important at this stage to look at partners and establish their abilities and means to assist in research translation. Research should impact real people with real problems. Find partners who can connect you to those people to learn about their concerns, what they would find helpful, and how they can both assist in and benefit from research translation. Knowing and understanding each other's goals, priorities, constraints, and incentives can all help establish meaningful and productive partnerships. This kind of deep collaboration from the onset can often yield the most effective research translation solutions. By integrating translation partners early and throughout the research collaboration, the ERT model ensures that the research solution is custom generated for the development challenge, and practitioners can more readily adopt the outcomes. Some development challenges require collaborating with new partners to generate innovative solutions, while other development challenges may benefit from leveraging long-standing, well-established partnerships. Laser Pulse and the ERT model have allowed pre-existing partnerships to continue, but have also promoted new partnerships and integration of additional actors into partnerships. In our Tusome early grade reading case study, the University of Nairobi came together with Makerere University, Catholic Relief Services, USAID Africa, and the Kenyan Ministry of Education. So universities from Kenya and Uganda, an international NGO, and government entities from Kenya and the US utilized early collaboration and an effective co-design process to result in products that were easily integrated into decision-making for USAID and the Kenyan government. Another diverse partnership is in Vietnam, where Duke University is partnering with Vietnam National Economics University, the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Fulbright University Vietnam. So, this is an American university and two local Vietnamese universities coming together with the local Chamber of Commerce to figure out sustainable solutions toward corruption. In these examples and more, we're looking at a broad scope of partnerships. But here, notice the commonalities of a university, a local partner, and potentially a long-term donor. This kind of deep collaboration does take work. However, it is important to see the enormous benefits that can come from such collaboration. Strong partnership with practitioners can help researchers gain new insights into the research problem, enhance research and advance the field with on-the-ground context, establish relationships with key actors, collaborate with field experts on implementation ideas, increase research impact and relevance, and expand opportunities for dissemination. Conversely, strong partnership with researchers can help practitioners root their work in evidence, integrate research into current and future programming, improve development interventions with a deeper understanding of recent evidence and emerging trends, test emerging innovations and discoveries, and co-develop solutions to persistent development challenges. These collaborations are most successful when characterized by equality and respect, and when they recognize that practitioners' and researchers' knowledge and skill sets ultimately complement each other. Although it takes time and a continual commitment to build successful partnership, early engagement and continuous discussion can yield more effective research partnerships that result in more applicable findings. When carried out effectively, such collaboration uses the strong points of NGOs, researchers, and policymakers to result in products, practices, and policies that have built-in uptake. You will need to work together to understand the limitations and capitalize on the existing expertise of partners. A range of partnership models exist on a spectrum of small to large and informal to formal. Some examples include short-term tasks and consultancies, jointly funded research, small agreements with no formal funding, programs and degrees, institutional level partnerships, and networks or alliances. Explore what kind of partnership would be most appropriate and effective for your goals. While deep collaboration is ideal, it is not always easy, as partners wrestle with certain aspects of the partnership, like different organizational structures and cultures, establishing the terms of the arrangement, timelines, incentives and values, intellectual property, definitions of success, and what your approaches are toward donors and finances. Research translation partnerships between practitioners and researchers can be a beneficial two-way exchange, as academics can ensure their research is used and useful, and practitioners can enhance their methods for capturing evidence. However, partnerships are far more difficult than it appears on the surface, even when partners share a commitment to a particular problem. When partnerships work, ideas are flying, connections are made, people feel validated and empowered, and distant ambitions can be transformed into achievable goals. It is important to invest time to determine the people to include in a research partnership so that you can build a strong relationship to achieve research impact. The proactive engagement of partners and actors who will produce and utilize research can reduce conflict between these parties, result in better research implementation, and increase impact. Proactive engagement is important because the inclusion of partners and actors strengthens research recommendations and ownership, which can affect and improve lives. Shared decision-making, trust, and accountability increase the potential to produce relevant research and adoption of the outcomes through shared ownership of the research. At an institutional level, partnerships between government agencies, universities, and civil society organizations can lead to greater impact and provide mechanisms for uptake of research because the partnership combines empirical evidence with practical knowledge. Nevertheless, partnerships would not be possible without individuals. Individuals make collaboration happen, but institutions provide the mandates, contracts, and administration that can make or break it. When choosing a partner, it's not just about the relationship between individuals or institutions. A partnership is linked to establishing trust, transparency, accountability, reciprocity, and respect. By committing to a partnership, each entity is agreeing to a conscious obligation to learn in tandem and participate to achieve a common goal. Think about a time in your experience where you have gone through some challenges in a partnership. What kinds of things did you find difficult? And looking at some of the challenges that you have identified, What might be some ways to respond to those challenges? Please complete your answers to these questions in a short form below before proceeding to the next section.